it's definitely not what we're expecting. The elements that were horrific within this movie, I think, are Jordan Peele's scariest stuff he's ever done in his 3 feature films.
You are going to witness an absolute spectacle.
What's up, YouTube? It's Drive By Movies here, and you are watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaze.
And today we're checking out the film that hit theaters earlier this summer. It's now on demand. Jordan Peele's Nope.
This dream you're chasing, where you end up at the top of the mountain, it's the one you never wake up from.
You'll be getting a call from my supervisor asking how my service was.
5 stars, Angel, 5 stars.
The residents of a lonely gulch in inland California bear witness to an uncanny and chilling discovery. So, as you can see, that synopsis really doesn't allude to anything when it comes to Nope. If you had seen any movies recently or seen the trailer for this film, you know there wasn't really many spoilers in the trailer. There's little moments here and there, but after you see the film, you realize a lot of those little moments from the trailer are all red herrings. So, kind of cool. But I just preface this, I guess, with we're probably going to talk a little bit about spoilers, because I think it's really hard to even have a conversation about this film without talking, about little things about hearing the plot that are obviously spoilers. You want to go into this movie. It's a Jordan Peele movie. I feel like everyone wants to go into his movies not knowing anything. Honestly, me, sometimes I don't even want to see the trailer if I know I'm already in for something pretty good. So with this one, I did see the trailer and I felt like it spoiled a lot after I watched it. But now that I've finally seen the film and can say I've seen Nope, it didn't spoil anything. I feel like. Anyways, James, what'd you think of this film?
Yeah, I was really happy with the marketing and direction Universal went with this movie, because I feel like Universal has shown a little bit of too much with a lot of their movies. I get it with movies like Jurassic Park and Fast and the Furious. You know what you're getting. It's a stinker movie. Just show all the fun scenes to get people in the theater and stuff. This movie, it's got the built-in audience just by saying Jordan Peele's in it. So that's there also. But I'm sure it's also a movie. Well, it was a movie that they were advertising. You need to see it in IMAX. You need to experience it on the screen. And I definitely see why. Seeing it in IMAX was a big help. It doesn't need to be seen in it, but it's definitely a very awe moment when you're watching some of these sequences later on in the film. I was very surprised by what I got when I first saw it. I knew I liked everything I was watching. I loved the story, the performances, and I was very inspired by what I was watching, but I was very flabbergasted and kind of taken aback by the direction the movie went in, because I just didn't know how to take it all in. I went in expecting signs, and I left the theater after watching something more similar along the lines of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's very reminiscent of those old school awe moments of Steven Spielberg, of having actual moments of just people digesting things. We don't get that in a lot of cinema, a lot of films in cinema these days, where you get them. That was a lot of the problems with the Hobbit movies versus Lord of the Rings. A lot of characters have time to react in Lord of the Rings versus the Hobbit. Things just continuously happen. We don't see them react, and we get that so much in this movie. It works in its favor. Still some things looking forward to talking to you about things that I kind of liked a little less than others. But yeah, what are your impressions of it?
Yeah, this was definitely a film I was a little bit more late to the game to see this movie, so I feel like maybe some of that, if you're initially saw this the first couple weeks, you might have been a little disappointed being at what you got. Like you said, it's a little hard to digest. Not like the movie was super complex or anything, but you're just totally expecting something different than what you actually see on screen. Essentially, you're expecting, you know, like this Get Out style movie with aliens in it, and there's even scenes that are in the beginning of this movie with these kids that are kind of playing a prank, like dressed up as aliens. And I remember even seeing those like alien costumes like in stores and stuff, which is like the ultimate red herring, not seeing the movie and then seeing the costumes. I mean, like, oh man, dude, I just got the whole movie spoiled for me, and like actually being upset about it for like a couple days. Like, man, I don't even want to see this movie. Like, it's like I already got the aliens spoiled for me, and then to finally see the movie and then be like, what? Like, like Jordan Peele really has the last laugh. Like, and honestly, I loved a lot of elements like that. Like, the actual like entity in this movie, like the alien, like you couldn't really, I mean, you could spoil it for sure if you saw that, but it's like you can't really spoil it through merchandising. A lot of stuff that's spoiled nowadays is like clearly through merchandising, like Baby Yoda or something like that, where you can't really avoid not seeing like a merchandise or product that is being peddled to you because it's the most popular thing in a new TV show or movie. Where this, I felt like almost like I saw this movie honestly, like I think over a month after it had been released, and I feel like I did ask you about the film, and you didn't tell me any spoilers. You just told me like, yeah, it was really hard to digest, not really what I expected completely, and you're like, it's definitely more of a Spielberg movie, and all that really rang true. Honestly, I think that little like primer you kind of gave me definitely made me appreciate the film much more than if I had gone in expecting that it was gonna be this like horror movie. Because I remember going out to dinner once and I heard like a table next to me talking about like, oh, I'm gonna see Nope after this, I really don't like horror movies and stuff. And then I was like, James said it's not a horror movie, so I think they'll be in for a surprise, you know. But it's like, I think most people thought like going in, this is gonna be like, especially after Us, like this is gonna be a gruesome, like Us is a gruesome movie. Like I definitely expected this to be gruesome.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this movie is rated R. I could be wrong, maybe it's PG-13, but I think it's more just rated R for language, if anything. Yeah, actually, this movie's definitely rated R. There's a few F-bombs in this movie. But, you know, and also just the more intense sequences kind of come in out of nowhere. Like I said, I don't really... I'd probably still box it into the horror genre, but just it's definitely not what we're expecting. The elements that were horrific within this movie, I think, are Jordan Peele's scariest stuff he's ever done in his 3 feature films. The scene within everyone being sucked up into this creature, as well as everything with the chimpanzee, is like, you know, very off-putting and catches you off guard. And that first week, and I remember just on Twitter, a lot of people were disappointed, but a lot of people are also praising it as the best movie by Jordan Peele. I think it's more the Letterboxd community I saw doing that, but then just, I remember Logan Paul went viral for saying, I love you, Jordan Peele, but what were you thinking? And he like went on a long rant on why he didn't like the movie. And one of the big things was like, he didn't understand what was going on with the chimpanzee moments. And it was actually kind of when I started reading those tweets and people responding to him where it kind of started to make more sense to me, because that is kind of what put me off guard. I was like, what was the point over that? Like, I did have my assumptions where I was just like, he's making money off of his trauma? Is that what they're saying? Like Hollywood is like, everyone's just trying to go viral and they're using trauma as a way to make money off of it. Like, that was my take on it. But I was just like, that's weird. Like, why? Like, I was like, this is a weird thing to put in within a movie with aliens involved with the plot line. And just like the more I thought of it, I was like, the more it made sense and everything. And a lot of people calling him out, being like, you of all people should understand, as someone who filmed a dead body in Japan and stuff. Like, so like that like made me like kind of chuckle and stuff too. Yeah.
That really went full circle for me. Yeah, I liked a lot of the elements in this film because I felt like they were multifaceted. Like, a lot of this stuff that Jordan Peele was saying wasn't just one. It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just flat out, okay, this movie's clearly about trauma. Because I felt like when you were talking about that, I was like, oh, that's actually not really what I got at all. I was thinking specific, like, not that you're wrong or anything, obviously, but I like that this film definitely was a conversation starter. For me, it felt like a lot of it was about how we were like, especially this kind of chimpanzee that's in the film is like dressed up like a child, and he's an actor in this TV show and they're profiting off it. But I felt like it was like we put on like the cost, just because you put on the same outfit as a chimpanzee doesn't mean that he is gonna just be a kid or be, he can be cute and everything, but he's not just gonna be well behaved, or at one moment he could just snap and just instantly go feral essentially. But also like we see the element of the way people like even just think about like an alien. Like we think of, there's multiple different types of aliens, or at least that's what like UFOologists say and stuff, but like there's different elements of aliens that people like imagine. And I feel like the Jordan Peele alien that he created in this film was another like interpretation that we don't really see very often, but the imagery and iconography that we've seen in all UFO type of media with these giant flying saucers that you saw from the 50s or Roswell or something like that. But this is actually a being that can look like that, but then can also not look like that as well. Like it can, if whether it's scared at the end of the film or whether, it was challenged, like I definitely felt like a lot of the elements that I liked in this film was just like almost like the nature of fear, or just the nature of like unpredictability,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I can't recall anything that's ever films a UFO this way, where it's a actual living creature for the most part. Like UFO, you always think of kind of the more mechanical machine aspect with aliens controlling it or driving it and stuff, and the fact that this is a being that has a mind of its own, thinks of its own, eats for itself and stuff, was like really like interesting, different take. Like we've seen things suck up or whatever you call it, the beaming things, hyper beam that you see with UFOs, but the idea of it like more just sucking up was very interesting. And back to the chimpanzee thing, like one thing that always haunted me was there's this band I used to listen to a while back called Suicide Silence, and I remember one of their intros to their album, I remember like had a phone recording of this lady who owned a chimpanzee, and it just went wild one day and started eating her best friend's face, and she was calling the police to save her and stuff. And that like it's a very off-putting like thing to listen to, and you can hear the chimpanzee's tantrum in the background. Like I think she's hiding in a car, and like I always thought that would be like an interesting take to bring into a film, and like Jordan Peele really did, because it was a viral story that happened a long time ago and stuff. And whether or not that was the inspiration, like I imagine it probably might have played a part. Like it was definitely like something real world interesting to bring into a feature film that you don't think of, but just like worked well and did very well and brought out like a great sequence, I'd say.
I think that instance has happened multiple times too. I don't think it's only been just one time. Like I think I remember that movie Project Nim. I don't think that's the same chimp, so that's why I feel like that's happened. It's happened a handful of times where like something scares this chimp and it just like is almost reverted to instantly back into the wild or something, and it's hit with adversity, and it's just, it's really creepy. I don't know, that whole thing was, even the scenes where it's like point of view in this film are just really, they weren't terrifying, they were like just creepy. I don't know, it was putting the kind of the view of this person is just terrifying. Yeah, I guess it was terrifying, never mind, it was terrifying.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So another thing I did really like about this film, and I think it's gonna like I'm assuming you probably liked it too, was I felt like this was like Jordan Peele's like love letter. I mean, I hate that word when people say it, but I don't know any way to describe it more than this is literally his love letter to like his passion for movies. Like everything about this movie revolves around like movie history, old Hollywood, Like it takes place, like parts of it takes place on a film set. I mean, parts of it take place on a TV set as well. There's even the characters are so tied to like being in motion picture history, their family members, everything. Like I just love that element of it. As like a true cinephile, like I feel like you could see that on the screen that that's who Jordan Peele is, and he loved just adding in all these fun little Easter eggs that just, if you like movies, you're gonna love this movie.
Yeah, 100% agree. I guess I haven't flat out said it, but like, yeah, even though like after letting that like kind of tripped out sit in feeling for me after the first time of seeing it, like, yeah, I've grown to love this movie. I think it's Jordan Peele's strongest film. And yeah, like highly recommend checking it out and everything. Like, yeah, I do love that. And I loved all the marketing that Jordan Peele's done for the movie, like how much John Carpenter has inspired him. And, you know, I don't think I've flat out heard him say anything about Steven Spielberg, but like, you know, there's a lot of inspiration within this movie, but it still feels very fresh and still feels very Jordan Peele too. Like, you know, like, you know, I liked Get Out. I really enjoyed Us. But, you know, I wasn't as hyped about them as much as like, you know, it took Storm in America and stuff, but I still like those movies. But this is the one where I'm just like, Jordan Peele's great, and just like, yeah, like I 100% just can't wait to see what he does next after seeing this. And I hope Universal will keep funding him, as well as Blumhouse or whatever. I know Blumhouse helped him with Get Out, and Universal's helped him out with Us and this, and hope to see more from him and just give him money, let him do what he wants. He's gonna put something good out there. But yeah, what did you think of the movie? Were you disappointed like Logan Paul? Are you on our boat? Let us know in the comments. You can now, it's still in theaters, not a whole lot's out in September, but you can also rent it from the comfort of your home. And a great way to help support the show is by watching it through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
And if you can't get enough of us here on YouTube, catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as our personal Letterboxd accounts. That'll conclude this week's episode, everyone. Tune in next week for a brand new video.